Hey, what is up guys, and welcome for another Remnant 2 build video. What I wanted to show you all today is probably one of my favorite builds in Remnant 2. I love the Invoker and the Archon as those are my two favorite classes in the game, and even though the Invoker is still a little bit bugged from the recent update, it is still one of the strongest archetypes you can use if you are focusing around using skills. And then the Havoc form is just totally the best attack skill in the game. It is probably one of the best and the easiest way to kill almost everything in the game. Whether it be aberrations or bosses, and even if they spawn with elements to resist, they are all still no match for the amount of damage that we can pull off now. This build will easily get you through the boss rush and any other content in the game. Whether it's flying enemies or faster, more aggressive bosses, all of them are just no match. And most people have said that the Havoc form can't attack Shahala, but it actually does really well against him. As you can see here, attacking his hands make for such an easy kill on him. All the other aberrations and the rest of the enemies that you encounter in the boss rush will basically die in seconds no matter who they are or what fixes that they get. With that, let's get right into the build. Our main archetype is going to be the Invoker and the Archon. The Invoker's Way of Kaeula does have an insane amount of damage from his lightning strikes, and you can easily clear out entire rooms with just one skill. Of course, it's not as strong as it was before, as it requires the line of sight, but as soon as you get an enemy on the screen, they'll most likely just get zapped down to death. And of course for the Archon, we use the Havoc form as our main source of damage. Now before we look at what items we're using, let's have a look at our Prism. This is where the main damage for all the skills come in. On our Prism, there's no need to go for any sort of fusions, as there is nothing much that can really benefit the skills that we use. We have skill crit chance, skill damage, skill cooldown, crit damage and health. You could fuse some of these and get extra mod crit, health regen and whatever there is to fuse with them, but since they don't really help with this build, we're not going to be using any of those other stats. The big one that we do want to try and get is the legendary, the Brutality, which will increase all of our damage by 100%, but we will also take 100% more damage as well. The extra damage taken is not really that big of a deal, as we can easily dodge all those attacks while in Havoc form while taking next to no damage at all, so that increase in damage taken is not really that crucial. Only time you can possibly die is someone sneaks up on you or something like that. Otherwise, Havoc form and the Way of Kaeula will be more than enough to speed through everything. The only thing that I could possibly want different on my Prism is to have health replaced with cast speed. Other than that, the Prism is basically perfect. Looking at our gear, we are going with the Leader Mark 1, so that we can at least tank a few of those small attacks that we may get hit with. We cannot tank too much, but a few attacks won't hurt us at all. For the Relic, we use the Profane Heart so we can get extra lifesteal. And for the weapons, we stick to the Monolith for the Sandstorm so we can apply Exposed with it. For the Mutator, we add in Spell Weaver so that every time we use our mod, we can also get skill cooldowns back. And as for a secondary weapon, you can go with whatever you like, and the mod that I want to get on it is the Flying Bomb Trap. This way you can easily apply Corroded, and it also does a decent amount of damage as well. As for our Amulet, we use the Jester's Belt for more damage and cast speed. Just if you weren't aware, the more cast speed that you have, the faster you will attack in Havoc form. Just like fire rate, cast speed will increase how many hits you land, and the more speed you have, the more attacks you will get out of it every second from your Havoc form. Looking at all of our rings, we have the probability cord for the crit damage, Burden of the Gambler for more crit chance and crit damage, Burden of the Follower for more damage, and finally Crimson Dreamstone for more damage as we keep hitting those crits. All these things together give us the really high damage per shot from the Havoc form. It is absolutely ridiculous how easy the game becomes even on Apocalypse, and even though you do insane damage, we are still kept on our toes because of the high damage that we receive. This way you don't just speedrun through everything, but still have to play a little bit cautiously just so you don't die to some stray attacks from the enemies. A quick look at the traits, we get strong back just so we can get a roll and don't flop in the heavy armor. Fortify, Vigor, Spirit and Expertise is basically mandatory for health, mod and skill cooldown. Amplitude to increase the size of our skills and mods. Bark Skin for some extra damage reduction. Then finally Siphoner and Leech for good life steal. And that is it for the build guides. This build is absolutely crazy and has some of the highest DPS for skills and probably one of the highest damages just overall in the game. It may not be the best as some range damage builds with the numbers and the speed, but with the Havoc form being so easy to attack and dodge at the same time, that you'll still end up doing more damage in some cases than what weapons may not do. I hope you all enjoyed the video and found it helpful. How are you all liking the new update and the new Warden archetype? I do have a fun build coming for the Warden as well, but I'm still waiting on the devs to push out an update before we can make some proper builds. So let me know what you all think. I will catch you all next time.